Good morning. You are Jimmy Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Taylor, you were previously in court, entered pleas of true in a motion to revoke your unadjudicated probation. Counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You pled true to all of those counts. You're on probation. The second-degree felony offense of theft of property with previous convictions with findings that prior offenses were true. You were placed on that probation January 24th of 2024. I have received the pre-sentence report, as well as there was one incident report from the jail, a page that should have been sent to you all, and also Mr. Coleman has also provided a copy of the court's sentencing hearing, a transcript from that original sentencing back on January 23rd of 2024. Has everyone had an opportunity to review all of those things?
We have, Your Honor.
State has, Judge.
Are there any additions or corrections to that updated report?
Not from the defense.
Not from the state, Your Honor. There are a couple of things I'd like to speak to if and when the court would like to hear from you.
Yes, of course. So let me just, there's no agreement in this, correct? This was just open to the court?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And, all right, Mr. Rojas, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're going to be asking for the court to continue Mr. Taylor on probation. I know by looking at the PSI on paper.
All right, buckle up. This one comes at you fast. Jimmy Taylor stands before the judge. 6 probation violations stacked against him like a house of cards ready to collapse. The charge? Felony theft. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Decades of run-ins with the law, drug offenses, and second chances squandered. His history isn't just a record. It's a warning. The judge isn't here for excuses. The files are thick, the evidence airtight, and the patience long gone. There's no room for negotiations, no lifeline left to grab. Jimmy's been here before, but this time feels different. The weight of his past is pressing in, and every single person in that courtroom can feel it. The air is thick with unspoken judgment, eyes locked on the man who's run out of road. No more deals, no more mercy, just the cold, hard reckoning of choices made and time borrowed.
Doesn't look like there's a chance that Mr. Taylor should be given, especially given his criminal history. It looks like his criminal history is all in some way related to drug abuse. If you look at the allegations he pled true to, those are the non-compliance allegations have to do with drugs. And the reason for not complying with the JCDI program, he doesn't come from a wealthy background. He doesn't have a whole lot of affluent friends and family members that can help him out. He had a ride with his brother. His brother had an accident, and that option was not available to him anymore. He indicates to me that he does want help getting off of the drugs, and I'm sure that when Mr. Coleman has a chance to speak, he's going to point out the comments made by the court to this defendant about not wanting to hear about needing more help with drugs or any relapses.
I really don't, because here's the thing, Mr. Johnson. I'm looking back at your original pre-sentence report that when I put you on probation, and I make notations on those reports and make highlights and those types of things. And I'm noting that in that report, you already, before this case, had gone to ISF and SafeP, and then on this probation.
Now the defense tries to plead for one more shot. Jimmy's attorney blames poverty, lack of support, and bad luck, saying it's all about drugs. He claims Jimmy wants help, but the judge has receipts. She recalls granting probation against everyone's advice, sending him to rehab programs he failed, and still, he came out and tested positive for cocaine. The judge's tone shifts, calm but surgical. She reminds Jimmy that he begged for a chance last time and now he's wasted it. No sugarcoating, no pity. The courtroom feels smaller now, and Jimmy's excuses, they're starting to crack. Each excuse is met with facts, each plea with cold reality. The judge isn't here to negotiate. She's here to call it straight. And Jimmy, he's running out of lines to hide behind. It's truth versus narrative, and truth is winning. The courtroom's grip is tightening, and Jimmy's options are disappearing.
I sent you to ISF at the beginning of the probation. Is that correct or no?
I believe parole sent him to ISF.
Yes, ma'am.
So you were on parole.
Yes, ma'am.
I gave you a probation against Mr. Coleman's wishes and really against what looked like I should have. You went to ISF regardless of who. So you've been to ISF twice. Is that correct?
Should be.
You're looking at her. You've gone. Have you been to ISF once or twice?
How many times?
How many times?
Twice in 20 years.
Okay, so you've
I've been in prison 23 years out of the last 30 years. So I've been doing my time and
but you
I
keep
haven't had a chance to,
to do what? Because you've been to SafeP, you've been to ISF, and you went to ISF more recently, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
As soon as I got out, I got right on probation. And I haven't had a chance to.
You got right on probation. You didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
You
And I had
tested.
to go to Beaumont, which
You
I'm
tested
from,
positive for
so
cocaine.
This is where things collapse. Jimmy tries to plead again, talking about his elderly mother and not wanting her to die while he's locked up. But the judge cuts through it. This isn't about her. It's about him failing again. She demands personal responsibility, calling out his absence from his family as his own fault. Jimmy tries to pivot, but it's too late. The courtroom gets colder, harsher, and there's no way out. Every attempt to shift blame only digs the hole deeper. The judge's patience is gone, and Jimmy's story, it's lost all weight. Reality is about to hit. Hard. You can feel the air shift. Hope slipping away, second by second. Jimmy's cornered, his words empty, his future slipping through his fingers. This is the sound of consequences crashing down. No more emotional appeals. No more shifting guilt. It's Jimmy versus the truth, and he's already lost. The collapse is complete.
After all of this time and all the different things that have been given to you and the opportunity that I gave you back in January of last year, you pled open. Just open to me. I could have done anything.
Yes.
I could have sent you to prison for 20 years, 10 years, and I gave you an opportunity. And I said on that day, because Mr. Coleman printed it out for
I know
me.
what you said.
Well,
Ma'am.
so how do I do anything other than what I said?
I mean, the situation. I've got parents. My mother's 90 years old, man. I don't want her to die and I be
Hey,
in prison.
we're not talking about anybody
You
but
know,
you today.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry your mom's that old and that you haven't been around to be with her, but that's whose fault? It's not going to be my fault if you're not there. How about some personal responsibility instead of my mama's old and don't send me to prison?
You know.
Judge, what I was saying about this.
Go ahead.
He was warned about not coming back, and the court didn't want to hear about a relapse, but I don't know that this is really a relapse. He never really got the help. On this most recent term of probation with the JCDI, and if transportation is going to be a problem, I know he's already been to SafeP, Judge, but it would be the relapse portion of SafeP would be appropriate for a whole new term.
Hold on. So if I'm reading this, I want to know when he went to ISF this last time. Parole sent him when, because the way I'm reading is you were released from ISF.
This is the final push, but it's not going Jimmy's way. His lawyer is scrambling now, voice urgent, practically pleading. 2 to 5 years. Just enough time to serve, to survive. A last-ditch attempt to soften the inevitable. But the state isn't having it. 15 years. No compromise, no sympathy. They lay it out in brutal clarity. Jimmy didn't just break the law, he spit on every opportunity to change. He burned. Threw resources, ignored lifelines, and now there's only one thing left. Consequences. The judge listens, unmoved. The room holds its breath. This isn't just a sentencing, it's a reckoning. Every choice Jimmy made has led to this moment, and now there's nowhere left to turn. The silence is suffocating. The weight of failure presses down. This isn't a courtroom anymore. It's a closing cell door.
And started JCDI August 6th of 2024. So I put you on probation in January, and between January and August, you went to ISF last year. Is that correct or no?
Parole sent him to ISF because of this new charge.
Okay, so when was that?
He was in custody, Jefferson County,
Mhm.
and then from custody.
Went straight there.
parole,
So I placed you on probation, you never got out, you went and got help at ISF. Okay, all right, anything else?
And Judge, if the court, and it seems like the court is not leaning towards probation.
No. No,
I would point out, we understand the range of punishment is up to 20 years, but the bottom end of that range is 2 to 20. And
I still haven't done anything yet, so your response and how you act right now is gonna go into what I do.
yeah, I understand the legislation makes it possible to go all the way up to 20, but it also makes it possible to go down as low as 2. I think we have to look at each case for the facts, and the underlying offense was a theft at the Dollar General, I think, or Family Dollar, I think it was about $100 worth of merchandise. I would ask the court to consider something at the lower end of the range, maybe 2 to 5. Just because we can drop the hammer on them, that doesn't necessarily mean that we should.
Jimmy fires off one last desperate plea, blaming tragedy, addiction, even an 8-year-old back surgery. But the judge has heard enough. Excuses. Layered on top of more excuses. He didn't change. He didn't try. And he sure didn't care. Until now, when the walls have closed in. Her voice is firm, cutting through the tension like a blade. You're saying the same thing you said last time? Look where it got you. The room goes silent. No rebuttals. No escape. Then, the hammer drops. 12 years. No wiggle room. No sympathy. Just cold, hard justice. Jimmy's face falls, but the judge isn't done. She strips him of his rights, spells out his reality, and slams the door on whatever future he thought he had left.
And that's what we're asking the court to do. Probation is not going to be an option.
Thank you. Mr. Coleman?
I'll keep it brief. The defendant has earned every bit of a 15-year sentence in prison. That's what I asked for originally. You placed him on deferred. That's what I'm asking for today. 3 things I'd like to quickly point out, Your Honor. Looking at the defendant's version in the updated PSI, he says that when he was placed on in the JCDI program, that he believes it was an attempt to set him up for failure, demonstrating a lack of acceptance of his own responsibility. The resources and time that have been dedicated to this defendant, limited resources, mind you, could have been redirected to someone who is more amenable to being rehabilitated. Lastly, you got his full criminal history there in the original PSI. And I provided you with the transcript from the sentencing just to remind the court. I know you see a lot of defendants, but just to remind the court that you essentially told him up front this was essentially a zero tolerance probation.
And I do appreciate that because I do see a lot and I don't remember it all, but Mr. Taylor, do you have anything you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. Been through a lot of things in my life, people dying in my family and other things, drugs, but I think, that I could do better if I had a chance, proper opportunity, ma'am. And I did a lot of time. I've done my time.
You have.
I don't think just putting me in prison I think I need a chance. I really do.
It doesn't make any sense because you're saying, you've done a lot of time and at some point you either say, I don't like prison and I want to do better.
That's what I want, man.
But you didn't take advantage of the opportunities you were given. You're saying you want help. And we gave you help, or parole gave you help. So you didn't even get out on my probation yet. You had ISF, a reminder of the tools that you had a long time ago. You had those things, and you got out, and you didn't take advantage of the opportunity that I told you. You better take advantage of it because you're not going to get it again. You're saying the same things that you said. Please just give me another chance. I'm going to do better. Please send me to ISF for a safe P. It's all the same thing that you're saying, and no one is setting anybody up for failure. I can hang on.
To the JCDI, I had back surgery.
So what you're telling me is when did you have back surgery?
8 years ago.
Okay.
But they only did half.
Listen.
I'm not making excuses.
If you're throwing out to me that you had back surgery 8 years ago, then you are digging for everything you possibly can, and we're done with all that. I'm going to find that you previously entered your pleas of true to counts 1 through 6 freely and voluntarily. I'm going to find those counts true. I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time, find you guilty of theft of property with previous convictions. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 12 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm going to hand you trial court certification that shows this was not an agreement. You do have some limited rights to appeal. You can talk to Mr. Rojas about that. I'm also going to hand you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have any questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Rojas. Y'all need to sign that, and he'll give you a copy of it. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Ms. Holmes on Demario Flukas.
That's it, whatever. It looks to me 12 years.
Hey, come back, Mr. Taylor. Come here. Let me tell you something. I still have jurisdiction over your case. So any disrespect that you show me right now, I can add years to that number. Is that what you would like to do? I do think it's fair. It doesn't matter that it's a misdemeanor. You keep doing it over and over. Go back with the bailiff. And you probably should keep your mouth shut this time.
But just as Jimmy turns to leave, he makes a fatal mistake. A muttered comment under his breath. Big mistake. The judge doesn't miss a beat. Come back. The words slice through the tension like a whip. Jimmy freezes. The room tightens. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. One more word, and she'll add years to his sentence. The warning is ice cold. Absolute. Jimmy's standing. On the edge of a cliff. And one wrong move will send him plummeting. For a split second, you can see it. His mind racing, fists clenched, anger flickering behind tired eyes. But then, nothing. Because he knows. He's got no power here. No more leverage, no more fight.